Right, we're live. Oh God, we're live. I'm trying to just get as much light on this as possible so that I don't look like I'm in the dark. Okay, that's probably as good as it's going to get. Don't really need to see that, do you? Right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Ooh, what a weekend. Hope everyone's doing well. I am. I'm just going to move that slightly over that way, hopefully. Might stay. Should stay. No, it's not going to stay. God. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Right. So, oh God, that's actually glaring me in the eyes. That's probably not a good thing. Right. Now that I'm all settled, I'm going to start straight off. And if anybody's going to join me, they'll join me. If not, I'm sure you'll be able to catch this up later. I'm going to try and breeze through these as quickly and easily as possible. First, I should probably introduce myself in case you're new and you've just stumbled on this channel. My name's Lois. I'm a mindset, manifestation, and empowerment coach. And in this series, I'm literally going through the A to Z of manifesting. So obviously we're going through the alphabet, and I'm going through all the different keywords, terminologies that you may have heard around manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, but you've sort of scratched your head and thought, I think I know what that means, but I don't actually know what that means. So I'm going to try and clear it up for you. Because I think once you understand how these words relate to manifesting, it makes the process of manifesting a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to do consciously, because we do it all day, every day, unconsciously. So if this is something you're really into, then please like, share, subscribe. I hate asking that, but it's apparently what you do these days. So I'm going to ask. I'm almost at my 500 subscriber limit, and I've been manifesting this. So are you going to be my 500th person? Hope so. Yes, so we've gone through, we did 2 parts in A, and we had quite a few. C went on for quite a bit, and even D, found a few extras in D. I did find one that I didn't speak about when it came to the D's, but we'll come to that. I might add it into this one. So the one I don't think I really talked about in the last one, and hello to anybody that's here, the main one in the D's that I completely overlooked was detachment. It's one of the most important things, really. I mean, we talked about it in A's, we talked about attachment, but detachment in terms of manifesting is it's really crucial, because so with manifesting, you're trying to set the tone of being the person who already has the thing that you desire, because wanting and needing is a desperate energy. And the key to manifesting is it works on law of assumption. So what you assume to be true must manifest. So you don't really manifest from your thoughts. So if you're thinking certain frivolous things throughout the day and you're having fears and doubts and worries, you don't manifest the thoughts unless you assume them to be true in your reality. But with detachment, it's crucial in all walks of life. We should not be attached to things, especially in an unhealthy way. And quite often when it comes to manifesting specific people, we have such an emotional attachment. But a lot of the times, any attachment that we have, whether it's to money, whether it's to people, whether it's to objects, it's because there's an element of lack within us. There's an element of, if I don't have this thing, I can't be happy, or I need this thing to be happy. I need money to prove that I'm successful. I need this person to prove that I'm loved. All of these things, So detachment is a very key part, because when you are detached from something, you're detached from the outcome, you are detached from how and when it's going to happen, because you settle into just knowing that it's yours, that it's done, it's a done deal. It's like we say, the other D, it's done. Manifesting is all done. You're not creating anything. You're not making anything happen. Manifestation isn't a magic trick. You don't do things to make things. Everything you've ever desired already exists right now. All you're doing is becoming a match to that and aligning with it through the power of the law of assumption. So if you're desiring something, it's because there's already a version of you that has it. So detaching from it just means that you are embodying the state of someone who already has it. The example that I've used is you don't become so attached to things that you've already got. Like, you don't sit there saying, oh my God, I wish I had this house that I actually live in. I wish I had this car that I'm currently driving. I wish I had, this partner that I'm actually married to. You don't become so vividly attached to things unless there's an element inside of you where you feel like this thing completes you. You need this thing to prove something to yourself. And that's where you need to work on it, because if you become so attached to something that you're relying on that for your sense of self-worth and happiness and validation, that's when you need to start going and doing the inner work and really asking yourself why, and then start working on that. So with that said, let's get on to the E's. Okay, first one I'm going to go with is expansion. Now, this is not a common word in terms of the manifesting world, but it is quite an important one, because expansion talks about our capacity, our ability to receive. So you have to think of things like, if you're wanting to attract and harness more wealth, you want to be a millionaire, but you have a mindset and a belief system that currently only allows you to make minimum wage. You have to expand not just your awareness of wealth, you have to also expand your ability to receive it. Because most people, whatever it is we desire, there's a part of us that doesn't believe we deserve it. Oh, hi, Chris. I knew we'd have one. I had one that was in and then dipped out again. So obviously they stumbled on this and was like, nope, not for me. But nice to see you. Hope you're well. So yeah, with expansion, we're talking about our ability to receive what we're asking for. So, you're asking for a loving, committed relationship, but you've got real insecurities and jealousies about your partner leaving, or that, nobody ever stays, or you're not lovable, or you're not good enough. You haven't developed that expansion that allows you not just to attract it, not just to receive it, but to maintain it and hold it. And that doesn't mean control it. That just means that you can receive it and you can hold it. So, you hear these stories of people who win the lottery. They have massive amounts, millions in the bank. And within like a couple of years, they are poor again. And you think to yourself, how can you have blown like, 15 million pounds in a few years? But when you haven't got the capacity and the awareness and the knowledge and the expansion to hold that amount of wealth, you are going to blow it. Because it's like a self-sabotage thing. You are not programmed. You're not wired. You haven't learned how to receive what you're asking for and hold it. That's why quite often when we get into certain relationships, frictions develop, because we start to trigger each other. We haven't developed that capacity and that expansion within ourselves to be able to maybe deal with conflict, or to deal with jealousy and insecurity, or to have that self-awareness to know not to blame that other person and to take accountability for yourself. So expansion, it's an inside job. Expansion is simply being able to expand your mind, expand your belief system, expand your capacity to receive and hold what it is you're asking for. Now you're probably thinking, well, how do I do that? I go into this a lot in my coaching. And if you want to do that, you can find me. It's payhip.com/Lois Empowerment. I will put a link in the comment box after this session. So if you do want to reach out to me, you can. I've also got an app that I'm building at the moment, so you'll be able to do memberships on that as well. So yeah, you can book me for one-to-one coaching or do the courses which go through this kind of thing. But in a sense, generally, in a nutshell, to expand your vessel, you have to have more experience and more exposure to the thing that you are desiring. So this is why sometimes it can take a little bit of time for people. It's if you're wanting to manifest, being a millionaire, but you've no experience of wealth, you've grown up in poverty your whole life, you have to it's like climbing the ladder. You have to start first learning how to build enough money that feels comfortable, And then you take it next step further. Now you start to go and increase that wealth. Now you're going to go and maybe get a job that's more on the salary. Maybe you go for a promotion. Maybe you're like self-employed. So now you're going to up your pricing. Now you're going to start offering, different services, and you're going to charge more for it. And for a lot of people, this in the sales industry as well, this is an uncomfortable feeling for a lot of people. Being able to sell yourself and sell your services to people, it makes me feel icky. And I've had to overcome a lot of that. Even running my own florist business, I would charge peanuts in the beginning because I felt guilty charging these prices. But these prices, I was ended up basically paying people to take my flowers rather than them paying me, because I had that mindset in me of feeling guilty because I grew up feeling guilty around money. So I inadvertently would reject money because in my mind, I'd grown up with that mindset of, money is the root of all evil. I mean, you've probably heard all that. So yeah, great sound and video quality now. I know, I moved. I went back to my old spot. I think in the other place that I'm at, they've got like I think it's like a Wi-Fi blocker or something. 'Cause it's near a banking place. I don't know. That's what I've heard. But yeah, the quality of signal down there is shocking. So I was like, nope, not risking that. I'm moving over. So I came over to the other side of town. So, and for anyone that's watching this confused about that, I live in a motorhome. This is my motorhome indie. So yeah, that's why it looks like this. So yeah, I'm in a better spot. Did you see my E? Oh, hang on. I will catch up. I will do your E's at the end if that's okay, because I'll go through mine, and then if there's any crossover, then I won't repeat myself. So we'll do that towards the end. And I've only got a few, so I'm going to get through these really quick. Yeah. So with the expansion, you have to get exposure to it over a period of time, get comfortable, and then build up the layer. Get comfortable, build up the next layer. Same in relationships. If you've struggled a lot with insecurities in relationships, whether you've had bad relationships in the past, maybe you've had an abusive relationship, maybe you got cheated on, you have to expose yourself little by little, gain more confidence, gain more assurance, and start to build your own sense of self-worth around relationships. So that, do you know what? If someone did leave you, or if someone did cheat on you again, or if someone, you saw the warning signs, the red flags, for example, you would know how to deal with that better, and you would react, and you would get out of that situation without causing any harm to yourself. So yeah, that's what expansion is. You're not filming from the moon tonight. No, we're not filming from the moon. No, we're all right this time. Yeah, I might go howling at it later. No, but that was when we had the full moon, wasn't it? So yeah, I'm not doing that now. So I'll save that for the next full moon. The next one is huge. Many people might have experienced this one. Who have we got joining? Hi, Lois. Good to see you. Hi, Tony. Nice for you to join us. You've only missed one thing. We talked about expansion, but you can catch that up after the video. This one we're going to talk about is my favorite. It's ego death. I don't know if anyone's heard of this. This isn't often talked about in the manifesting world, but it is crucial because it's part of the awakening that a lot of people go through. Ego death, in a nutshell, is your old identity literally crumbling and dying off so that you can be reborn as a new version of yourself that is more awakened, more aware, more enlightened. And this happens a lot with people that go on an awakening journey. And some people they don't feel comfortable talking about awakenings. You don't have to be into you don't have to go to church. It's not a religious thing. Spiritual awakenings and awakenings they're not about religion. They're not about crossing yourself and all that malarkey. It's simply coming home to who you truly are, the soul that is you. Because we are a soul, we have a body, and we have a mind. But we are not the body and we are not the mind. We are the soul. We are the essence. And what happens through childhood and everything else, we grow up and we literally are putting on layers. You imagine every time you go through an experience, you put on a jacket. And that jacket is now part of your identity. So you go through an experience where, you've maybe been bullied. So now you're wearing a jacket of you don't feel good enough. And then you go through an experience where, you met the love of your life, and now you're putting on a jacket where you feel like the most loved person in the world. And then that relationship ends, and now suddenly you are unlovable. We're constantly putting on layers throughout our life. And an ego death is about stripping back all those layers. It's literally you saying, fuck it. This version of me no longer fits in this world anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. I just don't fit into this world anymore. And the biggest question most people have when they know they're going through an awakening or an ego death is they go, there has to be more to life than this. It starts like that. And then you start to look at things and you realize, like, I don't get on with these people anymore. I don't resonate with this job anymore. I don't resonate with my family anymore. I'm starting to see all these synchronicities and all these manipulation tactics, and I understand that. And you start to get self-aware. And then the big one comes. All of your childhood shit comes to the surface. All your wounds, all of your triggers and traumas and pains from your past come right up to the surface, because that's what you've got to clear out. Because those are the things that are creating the stories, the limiting beliefs, and the mindset that you have been trapped in, that you have been conditioned and programmed in since you were born. Whether it's the way you were taught in school, the way you were brought up by your parents, your siblings, your peers, your friends, society in general. Everything around you is like a vacuum of conditioning, drilling into your brain all the time, who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to do in life. All of that becomes an identity, but that's not who you truly are. And where we mentioned in A's about authenticity, that's what this is. Everybody has their own unique journey. You're all authentically unique. So authenticity for everybody is going to be completely different. But an ego death is painful. It's excruciating, and it's supposed to be. So if you think you are going through one now, or if you have gone through one, believe me, ego death is not a one and done. You don't just have one and then you're like, oh, well, that was good. I thought that and I got my ass kicked. No, you will have several ego deaths, because it depends how deeply you've buried a lot of trauma and a lot of shit. It depends how deeply you've suppressed a lot of your emotions and a lot of your true self. It's a bit like when people talk about unmasking, when people have that, they wake up one morning and then just go, I don't know who I am anymore. That's kind of it. But it can be really, really painful depending on what you've suppressed over the years. And it takes time to just unlayer it. But that is an essential part with manifesting, because, and it's not about healing. We talk about healing, and healing will keep you stuck for years thinking that you've got things to fix. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be healed. You don't have to be freaking the Dalai Lama to manifest, right? You can manifest even while you've still got, shit going on in your brain, and you've still got like your life falling apart. You can still manifest, even if you've still got traumas and issues and PTSD and goodness knows what else going on. You can still manifest because you do it all day anyway. But by clearing out all of your baggage from your past, all of your, past relationships, all of your heartache, all of your anger towards your parents, anger towards your teachers, anger towards whoever may have wronged you in the past, when you start to let it all go and you just release it, you forgive it, you love it, you let it go, and you start to come back to yourself, and you start to really nurture yourself again, start to love yourself, take care of yourself. That is when you're able to start breaking down some of those walls and barriers that you've got around these subjects. The things of, I'm not lovable, or, people always leave me, fears of rejection and abandonment, the fears around money, about being poor, resistance, avoidance, anxiety. A lot of mental health problems are all really stemming from suppressing our emotions and bottling up shit from our past that we've never expressed and never dealt with. And then they go and medicate you. So then you're numb. So you're still not healing. That's why when people come off medication, they sometimes feel worse, because psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, they have not got to the root of the problem. They haven't cleaned it out. It's like having a wound. If you've got a wound and it gets infected and you just keep wrapping it in bandages all day, that wound is going to get worse and worse and worse. So it doesn't matter how many times you bandage it, It's never going to clear it. You've got to clean it out. So that's what an ego death is. It's fun. I can laugh about mine now because I've had mine. I've had probably about 4 or 5 over the last 6 years. But yeah, fun times. But you do get through it. And I tell you what, the best way to get through it is to get support. So again, likewise, if you need support with an ego death or an awakening journey and you're feeling a bit freaked out and you don't quite know what's going on and you need someone to help you understand, I'm your girl. But yeah, support is the number one thing you need, and do not suppress it. You got to feel it to heal it. So that's an ego death. Expectation is another one, because we can't help it. We're humans. We always, no matter what we want in life, we instinctively, automatically, immediately start putting a time on it. We start putting how we think it's going to happen. We start thinking about all the logical ways that things are going to work and come together, and we try then to control things and manipulate things, and then we usually inevitably end up sort of sabotaging in some way or getting caught up and upset and stressed and frustrated. So the best way to avoid that is to tone down your expectations. And I've said this before when it comes to boundaries. You need to lower your expectations but raise your standards. So in a similar way, you do the same thing with manifesting. You lower your expectation, but you raise your certainty about it. And that's how you're able to kind of tip that balance. So the more certain you become about your manifestation, the more sure and the more in trust and the more you believe it and the more you know it to be real, the more you know this is mine, it's happening, it's done, don't need to worry about it, I'm just going to get on with my life. The more you start to reduce that expectation level from, well, it has to happen this weekend and it has to happen next week. I mean, you could manifest £1 million this weekend. Any one of you could. You really could. If you had that deep assumption that, do you know what? This weekend I'm going to manifest £1 million. And you just happen to do the lottery, or you just happen to buy a scratch card, or who knows, maybe this is the other catch to this, right? Because we don't know the how and the when of things. We quite often sometimes assume that when we're manifesting something wonderful, we think it's always going to come in a good way. And sometimes you get the opposite results. But there's a thing which will come under in P's, which is the path of least resistance. When you release control and you just let the universe kind of move the chess pieces around and make things come together, it will do it in a way that is the easiest, fastest, most straightforward, least painful to some degree. The example I want to give you is one that happened to me. So when I was with my ex-husband, we'd been living together, and naturally we'd been together a while, and I was kind of getting under the idea that I wanted to get married. And I dropped enough hints, seemed to be falling on deaf ears. And I sort of gave up on the idea for a while, and I thought, well, that's never going to happen. And let it go. And then I guess a few months went by, and then my then husband got really sick, suffered some kind of poisoning at work. He was really seriously ill for a very long time. He was under a lot of medical care for a very long time. And, you know, as a girlfriend would do, you know, I was right there on it. You know, I got the doctors round. I was constantly chasing appointments, taking him to the hospital. You know, I was looking after him. You know, he was bedbound for a long time. So I was nursing him. You know, I went to work, come home, I would look after him. And that, he said, was what made him realize he wanted to marry me, because he realized how much I cared, how much I loved him, how much I looked after him. And he just knew in that moment, this is wife material. This is who I want to marry. Now, if that illness and sickness hadn't happened, I don't know whether he would have had that epiphany. At least maybe not that early. I might have had to wait another 5 years. But you can see how, in my mind, I thought it was going to be a lovely romantic affair and everything was going to be all unicorns and rainbows and lovely. And then all of a sudden, one day, we would be skipping through a garden somewhere and he would bend down on one knee and propose to me. Now, He just woke up one morning and said, do you fancy going shopping for rings? So I didn't actually technically get proposed to. So I didn't actually technically say yes when I think about it. But that's what I mean. Sometimes your bridge of events will look totally fucked up, totally batshit crazy. You've got to stay in trust. So your expectations of how things are going to happen and when things are going to happen, you gotta forget that. You got to throw that out the window. Now you can assume that it's going to happen in a certain time frame. You can say, like, within the next month, I'm going to have X amount of clients. Within the next month, I'm going to meet the person of my dreams. And then you go into your techniques and you go into your visualizations and you go into your affirmations and you stay living in the end, from the end of, well, I've already met my person. My person's already here. So then you go back and you live your life like as if you were already in a relationship. And lo and behold, it might happen. It might not. Doesn't mean your manifestation's not working. It just means that maybe you've got a little bit too attached, or maybe whatever it is that's brewing, however your manifestation is coming in, is not coming that way. It's like having a series of doors and you're assuming that it's got to happen in doors 1, 2, and 3, but actually it might come in doors 6, 7, 8. You see what I mean? It's about releasing that control. So expectation is a hard one to let go of. I struggle with it quite often. And I just remind myself that it's kind of, you have to give yourself like an inner reassurance. If you're expecting something and you're getting frustrated, I turn that into, oh, it's because my inner being knows that my manifestation is here. It's almost like when you get that notification that a parcel's arrived at the depot and it's in the sorting office and you're thinking, oh my God, my parcel's here. But you still don't know when it's going to arrive, but you do know it's in the vicinity. You know that it's at your local sorting office and it's going to be ready for dispatch any day now. That's how I treat expectation. When I start to get that expectation, that frustration, I bring it back down by saying, oh, it's just because my inner self knows that my manifestation is here. So I just need to calm down. And then I go and distract myself and I go and focus on other things. And it's always when you're not thinking about it, that's when it usually turns up. So let me catch up on the notes. That hit home with ego death. I feel on edge all the time and disturbed. I have fear inside me. Well, yeah, it's not an easy thing to navigate. And do you know what? I tried doing it on my own and I thank God. And I'm not religious when I say that because God is within us. We are the I am. We are God. But I'll get into that another day. So yeah, I found a really good support group. And actually, weirdly, my ego death started through a twin flame thing. Don't know if you're familiar with that. I personally don't really believe in twin flames anymore. I don't even believe in attachment theory that much. But that's what led me on. I met someone that triggered an ego death in me. And it led me into this thing called twin flames. And then I found a coach. Luckily, it was the exact right advice. It taught us to forget the other person, to focus on self. And that is your only true way through this. So if you're feeling any fears and you're feeling that, like you said, feeling on edge all the time, that anxiety of things coming up, just keep exploring it. Don't sit with it too long, because the idea is you want to be able to bring it up almost as if you're making it physical. Look at it and say, oh, that's what that is. Where did it come from? Why is it there? Why am I still holding on to it? Like, what importance does it have in my life? Why do I still have this belief? Like, do I feel like it's protecting me from something? Do I feel like if I don't have it anymore, I'm losing my identity? Do I feel like it's the only thing I've got left in my life? You know, there's so many reasons why we hold on to things that are not good for us. And I'll tell you the wonderful thing that you get at the end of an ego death, when you've really embodied the God state, when you are finally in that flow, when you finally released all your fucks and you've made peace, like you've forgiven everything that needs to be forgiven, you've made peace with yourself, with everything else, with your past, you've let it all go, there is this incredible euphoric bliss where there is no fear. Now, you still have moments of doubt and you might still have a little bit of anxiety because the ego mind is still active, but that level of fear is gone. Like, I cannot tell you, but people around me are freaking out about potential World War III and all this stuff going on in Iran and stuff like that. And I was away for the weekend walking in the mountains, and I came back and people are like, oh my God, World War III. And I'm like, really? I've just been walking up Penny Fan. What are you talking about? I couldn't have been less bothered. And I don't mean that crassly in the sense I don't care what's happening to people out there, because it's freaking horrible that they are killing people, innocent people. It's disgusting and abhorrent, and I don't condone any of these wars or anything. But what I mean is, while everybody around me is freaking out, I'm like super chill, because I don't believe that there is a World War III. I don't believe any of this is going on. It's all just make-believe reality anyway. This is all my reality. So if you choose to believe that there's a World War III, that's what you'll manifest in your reality. But in my reality, everything's cool. Everything's chill. There's no problem. Same with like the digital ID cards. Poof, gone away. Don't hear about them anymore, do you? Wonder why that is. Yeah, so again, it's like, take your attention off certain things. If you keep focusing on it, where attention goes, energy flows. So whatever you are super focused upon, you will magnify. So if you don't like something, stop freaking poking it and looking at it. That doesn't mean being ignorant, like they say, ignorance is bliss, but it just means that you're not giving it the energy. And that's what these people feed on. That is the whole point of these elites and the hierarchy, the system, the patriarchy that we've got here. It's about control. It's mind control. It's instilling fear. That's what religion is. Make people terrified of hell and damnation, and they will obey you. What do you think COVID was all about? Compliance. They've even admitted it. It was a test of compliance to see how belligerent people would be under fear. And they realized that the majority of the planet literally would go, "Ooh, sorry, we'll do whatever you want. We'll do whatever you want. Even though we don't trust you and we don't believe you, we'll just do whatever you tell us to, because we're scared." Rather than, going, well, hang on, this ain't adding up. But I will say, more and more people now, thankfully, are waking up, and they are not listening to the people in power, because the people in power are just puppets anyway. I won't get on my soapbox, but yeah, that's part of it. So with ego death, whatever you're feeling, just don't hold on to it. Don't suppress it. Let it come up. Let it go. You've got to look at it, say, what are you? Name it. Why are you here? Why am I holding on to you? Where did you come from? Who put you there? Okay, I don't believe in this shit anymore. I don't want you here. I don't believe in you. You're not part of my new identity, so off you go. And you let it go. And it may come back, because your mind does that. It comes back and it says, yeah, remember when you thought that you were worthless? Psst, just reminding you that you're still worthless. You have to have that self-awareness to get out of your own head, to be able to observe the thoughts. You observe the thoughts, because you are the thinker of the thoughts. So you observe the thoughts. And when those shitty thoughts come in and you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling afraid and I'm feeling scared and all that, breathe. Calm down. Okay, why am I afraid? Why am I afraid? What have I got to be afraid of? Literally right now, what have I got to be afraid of? Face it. Because honestly, when you face it down, it's never as scary as you think it is. So I've deleted all news channels and propaganda. I have no idea what's going on. I'm so glad it is. It's the best way to be. Honestly, people tell me stuff in the news and I've got no idea what they're talking about. And it's a lovely way to be. My mum tries to tell me all this stuff and I'm just like, please stop. Just please stop. Just switch it off. Go live your life. But yeah, I mean, we can't avoid it entirely, but we don't have to get sucked into it, is the thing. Okay, so the next one, embodiment. This, you may have heard, you may have not, but it is huge in the manifesting world. Embodiment. What is it? You have to be the version of you who has whatever it is you desire. Be it first. So you have to believe it, then you'll receive it. Not the other way around. Like the saying is, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. No, if you see it, like the belief is when you get it. So it's a hard one, but easiest way to get around this is start asking yourself, who would I be if I was a person that had my desire? Whatever it is, new car, holiday, money in the bank, new business, partner, whatever it is you're after. Who would you be? Who do you believe that you would be? So where would you go? What habits would you change? What new habits would you take on? Would you hang out with different people? Would you start doing things differently? Would you dress differently? Would you change the way you live your life in some way? You're definitely going to have to change your mindset. Number one, you can't go into a new version of you with old limiting beliefs, with old mindsets, with old crappy thoughts. So to embody the state is literally to be the version of you who has the desire now, because you already do. You just don't physically have it in front of you right now yet. That's all it is. Manifesting is simply making the unseen seen. So it's a bit like saying, just because I've closed the door, it means the entire world outside is now vanished because I can't see it. And you know that that's not true. If somebody tried to tell you, you've closed your front door, that means that the whole world outside has disappeared and everything in it is gone. You're going to be like, crazy? What are you talking about? But that's how we view manifesting. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. And therefore, I don't believe in it. And therefore, I'm just going to keep constantly recycling the same thoughts, and my manifestation will just keep just staying on the other side of the door. You have to just be in that embodied state of trust, knowing, belief, faith, just allowing, not controlling, not manipulating, just knowing, being that version. So, what does it feel like to be wealthy? I've got a little spider chart that I put. What does being wealthy feel like? It feels fun. It feels exciting. It feels sexy. It feels dynamic. It feels powerful. It feels secure. It feels safe. It feels warm. It feels nurturing. It feels confident. So those are all the things that I know then I need to embody. So if there's anything on that list that I don't feel that I'm embodying, that's what I work on. Who would I be if I was in a loving, committed relationship with someone right now? Well, I wouldn't be sat here crying, going, oh my God, I'm so alone, nobody loves me, because I've got a partner who loves me. So why would I be thinking that? I wouldn't be, right? So what would I do? If there's somebody that you want to be with, like there's a specific person that I have that I'm manifesting. I don't know if you'll ever watch this, but we'll see. And I realized I was very much stuck in my ego. I was very much caught in the 3D. I was looking at everything and believing what was being fed back to me rather than staying in trust. So for my own well-being, as painful as it was, I knew the right thing to do was to just disconnect. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I hope the other person realizes that it was the right thing to do. And you do have doubt and you think, oh God, if I just cocked everything up. But no, because what's meant for you is meant for you. And I do trust and I believe in it. Now, if I hadn't have stepped back from that, I would never have achieved the things I've achieved in the last 5 weeks. I've achieved so much more because my energy has been pouring into me becoming the version of me who I want to be when I'm in that loving relationship. I don't want to be insecure. I don't want to be questioning myself. I don't want to be jealous. I don't want to be any of those things. I want to feel safe. I want to feel loved. I want to feel cared for. I want to feel, like this person's got my back. I want to feel all those things. And I wasn't feeling those things when we were connecting before. There was a lot of barriers, a lot of avoidance, a lot of issues going on. And it's hard to interact with your 3D when it's kind of showing you the opposite results. So I just knew in that moment the best thing to do was just completely disconnect, detach. And I just poured all that energy back into me, into being the version who now I'm in the knowing state. Now I'm in the trusting state. Now I'm like, okay, I've worked on me. I've addressed shit that I was avoiding so deeply. I was avoiding work stuff. I was avoiding financial stuff. I was avoiding so much because I was so focused on this person. And that's not healthy. So removing him out of the equation meant that all my energy was now just going to me. That's where it should be on anybody. It should always be on you first. So by pouring that in, I'm now starting to embody the version of me who is all of these things that I want to be in life, for my business, for my friends, for my family. And I started to see it showing up. I started to embody the version of me who was loved deeply, who was respected, who wasn't used, who wasn't abused, who wasn't manipulated, who wasn't, who didn't have people that were avoidant, who, people wanted to be around me. People loved being around me. And the craziest thing happened. Because I was pouring so much love in myself, it started to get reflected back to me. People were mirroring it. Number one, my parents, who both, within 2 days of each other, told me, I love you. And they've never said that to me. In 46 years that I've been on this planet, I don't recall them ever saying that to me. It took 46 years to hear that. But the moment I poured all that energy into me, loving me, believing and knowing that I was loved, that people did care, that I was never abandoned, never neglected, I was secure, I was safe, I was happy, all was well. Within 2 weeks, I got that result. And then I started to see more and more people wanting to engage with me, wanting to hang out with me, wanting to interact with me, wanting to, support me. That's how quickly it can change. You've built yourself back up well over the last 5 weeks. Well, yeah, I mean, you've seen some of the videos where I've had a little bit of a breakdown, but that's, heartbreak for you. It's a process. You just got to go through it like anything, heartbreak is grief. It's just one of those things. Yes, I'm in a good place now. This is the only place you can be, really. Because at the end of the day, you've got a choice, right? Every day you've got a choice to wake up and either be in a bad mood or a good mood. You can either decide that life is working out for you or life is going wrong for you. You can either decide that everybody likes you or everybody hates you. Which one are you choosing? Because I know which one I prefer. Who, seriously, in their right mind, is going out in the day and consciously choosing, I'm going to leave my house today and believe that everybody hates me, that I'm useless and the world is against me? Because when you hear that out loud, can you see how crazy it is that people are choosing that every day and they don't realize they're choosing it? They don't seem to realize they have a choice for the opposite. And I get it. When we're going through mental health crisis, believe me, I've had at least 2 or 3 mental health breakdowns in my life, so I know what it's like. I've had serious depression, suicidal thoughts, the lot. So I know when you're in a dark place, it's very difficult. But that's the importance of this ego death. That's the importance of self-awareness, so that you become the observer of your thoughts. You don't become your thoughts. So that you are able to recognize when the shitty thoughts come up, it's just a thought. It's not you. It's not who you are. So then you get to change it. And that's how you change your reality, by changing what's going on up here, what's going on in here, what you're assuming, what you're speaking, what you're saying. You have to do a bit of an audit on yourself. And that's not easy for a lot of people, but it's essential. And that's where accountability comes into it. Because when you become accountable for yourself, you're able to start taking charge. Then you're able to start taking aligned action. And then you're able to start seeing results in your 3D. Yep. Need a breakdown to have a breakthrough? Absolutely. It's essential, but it's worth it. I mean, anybody that came to me now and said they were having an ego death would think I was nuts, because I'd be like, brilliant. It's like when people say to me, oh, I got triggered today. I'm like, great. What did you learn? And they're like, what do you mean? I didn't learn anything. I got terrified. And I'm like, oh, wasted an opportunity there. But I get it, because I used to be terrified. But now when I get triggered, I'm like, oh, what's come up? What is it? What can I get rid of? What doesn't belong? Let me go look at it, get rid of it, and then I can move on. And it literally takes me all of a few minutes, maybe an hour, and it's gone. Whereas it used to take me weeks, sometimes months. Yes. Yeah, it's not easy. So that's embodiment. Basically, you just want to be the version of you who has what you desire, whatever that is. And you work that out by writing down what all those qualities are that you would possess if you had the thing right now. Who would you be? How would you behave? What would you be doing? What would you be thinking? And making sure that you are in alignment with that. And just keep doing it on a repetitive, consistent basis. And the last one I'm going to talk about from my list, before I get onto yours, Chris, is energy. Everything is energy. From your lamp, to your table, to your car, to you, to the birds, the trees, blade of grass, smoke, whatever. Everything is energy. Whether you believe it or not, it's just fact, I'm afraid. It's scientific. It's one of those things. You don't have to believe it if you don't want to, but yeah, everything is energy at the end of the day. We all produce a form of energy. Now, in terms of manifesting, energy is not like what necessarily you're producing in that sense. Energy is simply, what frequency are you at? Are you in an energetic state of fear, like you mentioned? worry, doubt, anxiety? Or are you in an energy of love and compassion and kindness and joy and fun and happiness and all of those things? Are you aware that you're self-sabotaging? Are you aware of these thoughts that you're having? You know, what energy are you putting out? It's like we've talked before about when you enter a room and there's someone who's very needy and clingy and desperate and sly and slimy. You just feel the energy of that person. You're like, ugh, get away from me. Like, not today, Satan. Whereas when you walk in a room and someone just glides in, not care in the world, just in their own little bubble, just confident and happy and loving life, people want to be around that. It's magnetic. And our bodies are this whole energetic center. We are this system of energy constantly pulsing, sending out energy. They've even tracked it. The energetic frequency of love can be felt up to 3 meters outside of the body. So anyone around you, when you are feeling love, when you are putting out kindness, when you are embodying someone who is joyful and abundant and loving and kind, that energetic frequency vibrates out and it reaches people and things physically. That in itself should blow your mind, that you can produce an energy that people within 3 meters around you can feel. That's why it's magnetic. That's why you get that feeling of, I don't know why, but I always feel good around that person. Just the same as you go, I don't know why, but I always feel icky around that person. It's because of the energy that they're pumping out. So you have to ask yourself, if that's the case, what are you putting out into the world? Because whatever you're putting out is going to get reflected back. Now, that doesn't mean that if people are treating you shitty, that you are obviously a shitty person, because that's must be what you're putting out. But no, you're putting out that energetic frequency of, that's how people treat me. So people can only show up how you expect them and how you perceive them to be. But on an energy level, what you are putting out is the magnet that draws things in. So you have to think of it like your thoughts are your antenna. You're sending out a signal going, I desire wealth. I desire a new car. I desire a new house. I desire love of my life. I desire my soulmate, whatever. You're putting that out constantly. So you're putting out the thought of, I want a loving, committed relationship. But I'm giving out the energy of, I'm afraid, I'm avoidant, I'm scared, closeness intimidates me, I've got trauma and baggage, and someone when I was at school broke my heart and I've never forgotten it, and now I'm bringing that into every relationship I've ever had. That is such a messy energy to be in. So you're not going to be magnetizing in that loving, committed relationship because you're not giving out loving, committed relationship vibes. So that's what energy means in terms of manifesting. What are you putting out into the world? What are you producing? What is going on internally inside of you? And what are you allowing in? There are energy vampires out there that will suck the bloody life out of you. And I'm sure you've met them. You've met at least one person that's an energy vampire. But what are you absorbing? What are you allowing into your brain? What are you allowing into your thinking? What are you absorbing through your body? Think about like all the chemicals, like the food you eat, the water you drink, and whatever else you might be drinking, whatever, toxins you're putting into your body. Everything has a knock-on effect, physically, emotionally, mentally. Think about so much stuff that gets pumped into our bodies that isn't good for us. So having a cleanse every now and again is good. So yeah, we have to be very conscious about what is it we're absorbing and what is it we're putting out there. And I know, because I got sucked into a rabbit hole with this whole bloody gender war thing, because I was getting into some debates with people on Facebook. Sometimes I just do it for shits and giggles. And I started getting sucked into this whole feminist thing. And because of my own experiences, I was feeling like, I've had a crap experience with, misogyny and with abuse and things like that. And I've experienced it a few times in my life. I know how wicked people can be. But that's what I mean, it's people. Because as much as we say, yeah, there are misogynistic men out there. There are men that hate women. Yeah, there are women that probably hate men too. Just the same as it goes both ways. There are men that ghost people. There are women that ghost people. There are avoidant men. There are avoidant women. There are emotionally unavailable men, emotionally unavailable women. There are men that cheat and lie. There are women that cheat and lie. It is not exclusive to one gender or another. It's just people doing shitty things to other people at the end of the day, but they don't want to take accountability, so they blame it. So they say, oh, it's a man's problem, it's a woman's problem. Now, I will caveat that by saying that obviously for centuries, for millennia, the patriarchy has ruled. And that's because we know that women are a very powerful, energetic, spiritual life force. We create life. We have the ability to create life. We are very powerful, spiritual, sentient beings. So the best way to kind of keep that under wraps is to control it, to manipulate it, and to oppress it. And that's what's happened over the years, over the centuries. And all women now are saying is, we just don't want to be treated like shit anymore. That's all. But there are some people that have taken it too far and they've started man-hating, and I don't agree with that, because I don't believe you should hate anybody. Because you can't just cast aspersions like that and say that all men are rubbish and that all women are wonderful, because that's just not true. So I'm sticking up for men here, which people think I'm crazy. Like, but you've endured abuse. You've had so many horrible, traumatic things done to you by men. How can you support men? I have a son. I always wanted a son. I never wanted a daughter because I knew the problems that women would face, maybe. I never wanted her to experience what I experienced. But I also don't want my son to experience what many other men are experiencing now unfairly. Being pigeonholed because of what a few select people do. The world is not being overrun by awful people, but that's what we are being led to believe, because the worst people, as you well know, reading the news, are at the top. They're the people that are running the country. They're the people that control your banks, the people that control your healthcare system, the people that control the welfare system. They're the people that are running around islands, snatching up kids and doing god-awful shit to people. Us lot down here, we're just trying to get on with our lives. But if they try and turn us against each other, they win. And look, it's working. It's working beautifully because people are buying into this bullshit. And they're believing the rhetoric that there's like this mass influx of evil, wicked men just wanting to maim, kill, and rape women. And do you know what? There are a few. There really are a few. And I hate to say it, but nearly all women have experienced some form of sexual harassment or sexual abuse at some point. That does not mean that every man is doing it. It just means that there is a select number of men who are doing it, getting away with it. But that's a side note, and I shouldn't be getting onto that right now. Sorry, I get a little bit passionate, a little bit heated about things. So yeah, energy is important, what you're putting out there. So I just wanted to say that I got sucked into that drama and I managed to see what I was doing and I pulled myself out of it. So let's go and have a look at your ease, Chris, and see what we've got. Right, hang on. Let me go into videos. Hang on, I've got to try and find my videos now. Right, videos. What was the last one we did? Right, let's go into that one. Pause. Okay. Oh, of course. Enlightenment. Holy moly. How did I miss that one, Chris? Enlightenment. Yes. Very important one. I'm probably going to upset a few people, but maybe it's my own belief. I don't know. But it's believed that true enlightenment only occurs when we die. We talk about these people saying, oh, I'm so enlightened. Oh, I'm an enlightened being. If you were an enlightened being, you would not be in your body anymore. There are some very famous gurus throughout the years. I mean, the Dalai Lama might have done this on occasions. Buddha was one of them. There was the Paramahansa Yogananda, I believe, and there was another guy, I should have remembered his name, who apparently could meditate, and they wouldn't eat, drink, sleep. They just stayed in a meditative state for weeks, even months, apparently, and they were still alive. And they did it because they left their physical body and they went off into some spiritual realm where they didn't need food, drink, water, and everything. Their body just sustained life. Now, I mean, how true that is, I don't know, but apparently there are plenty of witnesses. So enlightenment, in terms of manifesting, is almost the same as awareness. When you're enlightened, it just means that you are no longer entrapped by lower vibrational frequencies, lower vibrational things. And low vibration, we mean as, emotions and thoughts and feelings like anger, hatred, disgust, fear, stress, anxiety, worry, doubt. Negative emotions, negative feelings, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, that's all low vibrational stuff. You'd even class like people who, OnlyFans would be low vibrational people. People who, do a lot of drugs and alcohol, people who are promiscuous, all of this stuff, you can say, it's very low vibrational. It doesn't mean that someone is necessarily a low vibrational person, but they're around lower vibrational things because enlightened beings are more in tune with nature. They're more into the higher consciousness. They're all about love and light and elevating and being the best versions of yourself and protecting each other and loving each other, protecting the earth. It's all about valuing life, being decent human beings to one another, kindness and compassion and empathy. They're all levels of enlightenment, but we go through different levels of it. And the true enlightenment, like the Christ consciousness that everybody's aiming for, yeah, apparently you only get that when you die. So I'm quite happy being as enlightened as I am. I think I'm enough. So yeah, enlightenment is a good one, but it's one that people tend to chase quite a lot. They talk about themselves being enlightened, but they never really know what being enlightened means because it's hard. It's a hard one to explain. Well, empowerment. I mean, I should have gone for that one, really, shouldn't I? After all, it is my business name. So yeah, empowerment is quite a good one actually in manifesting. It's not used a lot. It's not a common term in it, but it is an essential part of just, I think, this whole process of awakening and evolution and enlightenment. Empowerment is that self-generating power. You're not belittling someone else to make yourself feel better. You're generating this power within yourself. You're being empowered by yourself, for yourself. And everyone else around you benefits from that. So it's being able to take charge of your life, being able to make good conscious decisions, being able to have self-awareness, understanding, compassion, patience, tolerance, empathy, all of those things. When you are an empowered person, you don't need the validation of others. You don't rely on other people's opinions and their security. You can create your own. Empowerment is you being able to see, even in the face of everybody else, like falling to bits. You're like, I got this. I got this. Where even when people say, this will never work, you're delusional, you can go, no, I know what I'm doing. It's such a wonderful thing. And I'm actually doing a retreat in July, 3rd to the 6th of August. It's an empowered women's retreat. I really want to do a men's one, and I've got dates available for end of July, beginning of August. But I don't know whether I'm going to get enough uptake. So I really need to get at least 10 men on board. So if you guys out there think that you can gather at least 3 or 4 men each to join the retreat, I'll put it on. And it'll be a weekend retreat. So it'll be Saturday, Sunday. You can arrive on the Friday night and you'll leave on the I'll leave on the Sunday, and it will be a full 2 solid days of mind, body, soul transformation. the stuff that I teach and the stuff that I go through in depth, the practices, all the techniques, everything, it's very hardcore and it's very transformational. I'm proud to say I have 100% success rate with everybody I've coached and everybody I've worked with. So, but it relies on the people doing the work at the end of the day. It will only be as successful as you make it. So yeah, empowerment, it's just that, it's that sense of self. When you know yourself, when you're being authentic, you will feel the most empowered person on the planet. When you're masking and you're trying to fit in and you're not living life in alignment, you won't feel very powerful. And you'll want to try and take that off of other people. And to be self-empowered is huge because people can't take that away from you. Yeah, we don't do live vibrational people. What's that? You believe in enlightenment and a higher level of awareness. I believe in it too. Yeah. You'd love to go. Oh, thank you, Chris. Well, put the feelers out. See if you can get the word out and let me know. But I would need at least 10 men to join. So I will go to the venue. I will suggest it to them. I'll put something together. And it's a beautiful, lovely retreat in Devon. It's gorgeous. It's its own estate. So it's all self-contained. You have your own bed. Some of it's mixed shared dormitories, and some of it there's like a cottage if you wanted that for just for yourself. But there's a reduced fee for people that want to attend. So if your partners did want to attend, but they don't want to actually do the course, they just want to stay at the venue, they would have to pay, but it's a lower rate amount. Whereas everybody that's actually attending the course will pay the full fees depending on what kind of room they go for. And yeah, you get all your meals provided for. It's on beautiful grounds. I've got some physical challenges that are lined up that will push people. And it's just getting you, it's getting you back in touch with yourself to reconnect with who you truly are at the end of the day, and to break free from all these limiting beliefs, these patterns, this suppression. And there's so many men's retreats out there now. It's getting more and more popular. The one thing that the men's space is missing is women. I'm sorry to say it, but when you look at a lot of women's retreats, a lot of yoga retreats, a lot of spiritual retreats, men are involved. You have male breath workers, male yoga instructors, you have male mobility instructors, you have freaking ayahuasca teachers. They're all men. And they are coaching women. They are in the women's retreat sphere. But you don't see any bloody women in the men's retreat sphere. And you guys are missing out. I have had so many doors slammed in my face. I am trying so fucking hard to break down these walls and to help people and to help men. Because it's like you wouldn't take money advice from a poor person living on the street. You just wouldn't do it. You wouldn't take scientific advice from a freaking 2-year-old. So when it comes to understanding yourself, you have to have a very full, rounded, embodied, immersive system. You have to get the true facts from the source. If you've got somebody who doesn't understand women teaching men about women, you can understand why we've got a problem the way we have. Just the same as we've got women out there who are hurt and angry and they haven't fucking worked on themselves, going out there and spitting venom into the ears of young women. We've got to stop this. We have to stop this now. I'm determined more than ever to stop this bullshit rhetoric of people out there who are just angry and just spreading shit. We've got to work together on this. And that's my main goal in doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring both men and women to work together because it's the only way that we're going to get through this. So yeah, I will make plans, Chris, just because you said. It is so needed in this world. It really is. Devon, that's 4 hours away from me. It's 4 hours. It's about 3 hours from me. 3.5. It's up near Bude, so it's not too far. But trust me, it'll be worth it. And you get to stay there for a whole weekend. So you could come down on the Friday evening and then you go back on the Sunday evening. Some of the retreats are Friday to Monday, but I know people can't always get the time off. So that's why I thought do it Friday to Sunday. But I'll put it out there. It's up to you. You know, people can come or not. What have we got? We've done energy, excitement, extroverted. Not sure what that one is. Introverted, but okay. Environment. Yeah, they're all good words, definitely. However, in terms of manifesting, they don't always fit. I think the only other one I can go with is environment that you said. So I'll take that one. Environment, yes. In terms of what and who are you surrounding yourself while you're manifesting? If you're do you know what? When it comes to manifesting a specific person, do not speak to people who don't understand manifesting. Even when it comes to money, don't talk to anybody that does not understand manifesting, doesn't believe in it, because they will earworm you and they will bullshit you and they will manipulate you and they will stop you believing in what you're manifesting. Don't talk to them. Just don't tell anyone what you're doing. If you haven't got anybody around you that understands manifesting or believes in it, just don't discuss it with anybody. Go online, get involved in some groups, you know, speak with a coach, you know, follow some groups on YouTube, get with the people that also manifest, and be around people who support you and encourage you and understand how this works, who can pick you up when you're having a bit of a knock. Because even myself, and this is one thing I found quite frustrating, is I'm such a good cheerleader for everybody else, but I don't do it for myself. And sometimes you do need that external voice to say, no, you got this. It's okay. I believe in you. You still got it. Don't worry. Don't let this knock you. And I'm fortunate enough that I found a couple of really good coaches online who, whenever I have a dip, I just go straight onto their channel and within 5 minutes, I'm right back up again. And sometimes that's just all you need. You just need that little pep talk. But we all need it. We all need it. And surrounding yourself by the right people is key to anything in life. If you want to start getting on in business, you've got to start networking with the right people in business. You can't still be hanging around with people that are getting drunk every weekend and, you know, doing drugs every weekend and just being lazy. That's not going to help. Your environment is essential to who you are being. Again, it comes down to embodiment. If you're embodying the state of someone who is wealthy and healthy, you know, like you could say, like, if I was a fit person, I'd go to the gym, or I don't need to go to the gym because I'm already fit. So there's two ways you can work around that. So do you need to go to the gym, or do you just need to be healthier in your choices? So your environment is very key in how you manifest. So make sure that you've got everything around you that is supporting you and nurturing you and encouraging you in being and living as the version of you who has what you desire. That's essentially it. It's hard to find people. I'm glad I found you. Oh, good. Well, they do. See, you find your people. When you're being yourself, your people just naturally gravitate and find you. You know, you could walk in a room of 100 people and you might only connect with 2 or 3. It's not about quantity, it's quality. So who you connect with is who you connect with. And that's yeah. You find that through this awakening journey, you end up with a lot less friends, but the ones that you do have, or the people that you surround yourself with, they're people that you can trust. And that is more valuable than anything. You could be surrounded by so many people and still feel fucking lonely. Or you can have just 1 or 2 friends and feel like the richest person on the planet. And that's how I feel. You know, I've literally got a handful of people. I've actually even started today. I've been a real hermit. I think we all have with this bloody weather. But I just had the urge today. I was like, I need to get out. I need to get out of this bloody motorhome and I need to start actually connecting with people again. I need to start going out and meeting people and exploring and living again and doing exciting things and going on adventures. So I joined a couple of groups today and got messaging with a few people on Instagram and Facebook. Wonderfully, they've got me in touch with a few things. So hopefully I'll have something planned. I've got some adventures planned, going up to Scotland again and a few other little bits and pieces. But yeah, I just want to connect with people. So I think it's important. And you don't always crack it first time, you know, like I say, you might have to do this 2 or 3 times before you find someone who you just click with, but it's worth it, right? And I think just connecting with people is just a wonderful thing. And I use it as a good exercise to start kind of, getting in on people. And every group hike I've done, I've met somebody who's going through an awakening journey. And I attract those people who I know I smell it a mile off. I spot them in the crowd and I'm like, oh, I just know I'm going to be talking to that person soon. Within usually half an hour of the hike, up they pop. Hi. And I'm like, here we go, strap in. But I love it. I love it because when people are open with stuff, that's why I'm really open about what I do and how I think and feel. Because if I can be fully authentically me, it gives other people the confidence to do the same. And to be honest, I don't really give a shit. So I'll quite happily walk into a pub and I'll say things about spiritualism and manifesting. And, it took me years to be able to say the word God. I couldn't say it. I could barely walk into church. I used to think that I would just burn in hell. I hated it. I hated religion. I realized it was religion that I had a problem with, not God, not spirituality, not once I understood the true meaning of God. But we'll come on to that with G. But yeah, I'm now very open and vocal about it. It's like, hi, I'm Lois. I'm feral as they come. And I like going on adventures. And I'm also super spiritual and I teach manifesting. Hey. People either go, wow, she's a crazy bitch, I ain't going near her. Or they go, cool, she seems interesting. I want to get to know her. And that's great because that weeds people out straight away. If it intimidates people and they don't think I'm their person, they're right. I'm not. So then I don't have to waste my energy and time on people that I know are not for me. So again, we got to see, rejection is redirection. It's not, people aren't rejecting you. They're rejecting the energy that you emit. So then that's a good thing. Just turn your bedroom into a gym like you did. Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. Yeah. It's great to weed people out. It is. This is, again, the thing with the whole relationship issue that people have got now with dating. And I know women don't like to hear this, but it applies for men or women, whatever situation you've got. And I've had to learn this the hard way as well. If you're carrying baggage from past situations, relationships, you are doing yourself and everybody else a disservice. Number one, it's not very respectful to yourself. Clean that shit up. Get rid of it before you go and start chatting up and dating other people. For God's sake, if more people after a breakup spent time, a good 3 months, working on themselves and clearing up all of that pain and that heartache before they even thought about dating again, everybody would have a much better experience. You would have far less avoidance. You would have far less emotionally broken people. You would have far less ghosting and skeptical things. The next is implement boundaries and raise your goddamn standards. That's it. There's 3 simple things that you can do. Heal your shit, implement boundaries, raise your standards. Do that. And, communication, I should probably throw that in there. But yeah, communication is essential. If you can't communicate with someone, forget it. What's the point? Why are you dating if you can't communicate? If you can't string a sentence together, or if you can't speak to someone and respond to them within a few hours, or at least within 24 hours, if you leave someone on red for 3 days, fuck off. You shouldn't be dating. It's disgusting behavior. Grow up. And I mean that to all men and women. If you're ghosting someone, disgusting behavior. Sort your life out. If you are chatting to like 5 or 6 people and you're constantly swiping because you think there's going to be someone better, you're the one that's going to end up lonely. Dating is not fast food. People are not disposable. And stop treating people like that. Take some accountability for yourself. If you're constantly choosing these people, maybe you need to look at yourself. I did. I was constantly picking emotionally unavailable people and avoidant people, and I couldn't understand why. And then I realized, I actually had some avoidance. So I had to look at that, and that was hard. But I did that, and now I'm all the better for it. Now, funnily enough, I don't seem to be attracting avoidance anymore. Funny that. That's the way it works. We don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. So that's not to say that if you're attracting cheaters and liars, that you're a cheater and a liar. You could be. But it comes a bit deeper than that. It's what you believe you're worth. And there's elements in them. If someone's cheating on you, they're disrespecting you, which generally means that you don't respect yourself. If someone lies to you, manipulates you, it's because you feel helpless and out of control. And maybe you grew up in an environment where your parents always told you what to do and you were controlled and manipulated growing up. So that feels comfortable. It feels normal. It's very, very simple reasons why we do the things we do. Humans are not complicated creatures. We make it complicated, but we're not. We're really not complicated creatures. When you simplify and break everything down, it always falls into a few very simple categories. And it's the same for men and women. We're no different. We just process and express it differently. And I find men are more stubborn because they're more fixed in their ego, and it takes them a lot longer to process information. It takes them a lot longer to process emotions and to express and to let go and to not resist the process and to not resist other people. And it's harder. I'll give it that. You men give me a bloody run for my money. You have pushed me to the brink so many times when I've been coaching men. I have hard work. But when that light bulb goes off and when you see that little break happen, you see the heart open and you see the cogs turning and you see the recollection and the emotion and everything just starts coming out, and it's just that release. Oh, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. It's why I do what I do, because when you're literally seeing someone being reborn, you're seeing new life blossom again. You're seeing years of pain and anguish and torment just poof. And the relief that you see, the weight that gets lifted, how these people just breathe different, how they move different, they walk and they talk different. Can't even explain how good it feels to watch that. Because I know how it felt personally, but to watch it in someone else, oh God, it's a gift. It really is. So I want to do more of it. So yeah, so if you're looking for a coach, let me know. I'm your gal. And with regards to the men's retreats, I will put something in place and I will start promoting it. It will probably go out on Instagram and Facebook. I will make some videos and I will probably post a short, and I will try and do some adverts on YouTube as well. So you will know about it, and I will be mentioning it in every future video. So you won't be able to get away from it. Right. I'm going to leave it there before my battery dies. And I'm going to wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me, Chris. And we did have a few, but I think a couple have dropped out. Maybe they don't like my swearing. Again, hey, we're weeding them out. That's just fine. Oh, we should have had empathy, emotional. I'm really in touch with my emotions, which is good. It is good. Yeah. Empathy is good. It is a good thing. But do not let it make you naive. You can have empathy for people, but you're not there to fix anyone. You're not there to take someone's pain away from them. Only the person who's carrying it can do that. Nobody can fix anybody else. It's up to the individual to sort themselves out. And when people say they need fixing and they're broken and they need healing, yeah, to some degree, but it's a lifelong journey of healing. We're always going to be triggered. We're always going to pick things up. We're always going to have these little insecurities and wonders and doubts and things. We're always going to have issues and experiences that we don't like. But when you learn the tools from the basics, from the ground up, when you get to the root of everything, those things just wash off you so much quicker. But yeah, empathy, as they say, narcissists will always look for the empathics because they are easier to manipulate because they're people pleasers. Empaths want to help. They want to look after. They want to nurture. They want to care. They want to take away the pain. They want to make sure everybody's okay. I was like that too. But if you're going to be a super empath, and that's the next level of empaths, that's where I would class myself now. I never used to be, but a super empath, they know the healing powers that they can provide. They know what they can do to help people. They don't self-sacrifice in doing it. That's when you know, because you've got clear boundaries, you know how to protect your energy, you know when to give, how much to give, and when to pull back and when to hold back. And that's not out of a selfish thing. It's literally like, I give you this, okay, I see you're just taking, then I pull back. You have that awareness, that heightened sense to just feel into things and know, I can feel this about this person. I can sense this about this person. And you tread carefully. You're very, what's the word I'm looking for? You move with purpose when you're a super empath. You're never just giving energy away. You're very purposeful with who and what and when and how you give your energy to people and how you help people. And it's a big learning curve. Jesus, it took me a long time to grapple with that one. But I like to think that I've got a handle on it now. Right, so yes, see you next time. Have a great week. Yes, I will see you all soon. And thank you for joining me. And I'll see you in the next one where we're going to talk about the Fs. So this time, Chris, I will check the video before I come on live next week to make sure I've got your Fs written down and I can go through them. So I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.